Hey guys, it's Austin from Second Life Sneakers. We're gonna do part 3 on the NYC Sole Swap series. So if you haven't seen the other videos, we're sole swapping this pair. It's a pair of 2003 NYCs. And what we've done so far is we've deconstructed the shoe, and then we took all of the old foam out of the midsoles, and then we blasted all the old glue out with a rotary tool. And so we got them completely prepped. Now in the last part, I did kind of fast forward through some of the, not really some of the steps, but there was just a step that I was going to repeat 3 more times. So in the last video I prepped one of these uppers, and then I cut the video after prepping the upper, and then basically we just repeated the same process on every other piece of the shoe. And so we got everything nice and clean. But yeah, you didn't really miss anything there. I mean, it was just, if you watched the last part and you saw what I was doing, you just do the same thing to every piece. For the inside of these, for like the midsoles, you usually don't need to do anything with like the heat gun and the pen cap like I was doing for the uppers. Usually you can just use the rotary and that's enough. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a pretty repetitive and like labor intensive part of the process. But we're done with all of that. This next part is also kind of labor intensive. But what we need to do next is we need to fit the new air units into the sole. We need to get them ground down so that they fit the upper properly. And sometimes you don't have to grind it down, like depending on, each shoe is a little bit different, and each shoe might need a little more like grinding than others, but we'll see how this fits. So first we just put the air unit into the sole. This one fits in pretty well, so this one might not actually need that much work. And then you're gonna put your upper into it. I usually brace it with my knee like that so I can get it fitted at the back and the front. Oh wow, nice. Okay, so this is ideally what you want to happen, that rarely ever does, but in this case it did. So this fits almost perfectly inside, to the point where you can't see any of the old glue line. Like that's ideally what you want, is you want this, like the edge of the midsole, to sit right where the previous glue line was. And for this one, it looks pretty close. Like I'm gonna probably sand it a little bit just to be safe, but it's almost exactly at that line. So I'm gonna bring it a little bit closer, and hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm trying to show you. But this is where our line is, like from the previous glue line. So we've gotten almost all that glue off, but like you'll see a little bit of the residue, and like it'll always show a little bit of that line, and we don't want to show any of that line once it's put back together. So we fit it at the back. They pretty much always fit perfectly at the back. This is generally not a problem area. Like from right here to right here, generally you're good. And usually the problem area is like where like this part started. I think it's called the vamp. Where that starts, like that's where you usually have some problems with fitment. But right here you can see it does fit in pretty nicely. That's the old glue line right there, so it does sit pretty much right at the sole, and then right here it's pretty consistent. So we might be able to get away with not shaving at all, so this might be a really short video. What would usually happen here is we would usually have this toe sitting more like that. Let me make sure that I'm still in frame. So we would have it sitting more like that, and then what we would need to do is we would take these, and then we would take our rotary, and usually I start where this hole is, right here, and I would just go across, and then I drop this. I just like sand off back and forth using the rotary, and kind of drop that down maybe like a millimeter or two, and then whenever you put pressure on the toe and like put it back into place, it sits a little bit lower, so you're able to like lower the glue line basically. And you want to do that on the underside whenever you do that, so that you don't feel it. If it's on the bottom, like you're generally not going to feel that because you're still on a flat surface on top, and then you got like the lasting board and the insole in between your foot and this part. But if you do it on top, it might come out like a little bit uneven, so you might feel those like inconsistencies on foot a little bit more. And I've got another video that was actually the first video I posted on YouTube, was how to like properly shave these down. So I'm gonna fit the other one, and we'll see how the other one looks. And I'm trying to debate whether I want to shave these at all, because it's ideal. I mean, ideally you don't want to shave them, but usually you have to. And I'm just a little skeptical almost of how well this is fitting. It's too easy. Okay, yeah. So this one's fitting a little bit differently, and the right shoe, for whatever reason, on Air Force Ones always seems to do that. Like the right shoe fits a little differently than the left, and usually has a little bit more issues with the fitment, specifically around the toe. So this one does look like it's sitting a little wonky, and because of that, I am going to shave the left a little bit too, but we're definitely going to have to do some work to this one. I'll bring this one closer so y'all can see. But obviously at the back, we're good as always. And the problem here is really more on one side. It's on this inside. So you can see here where like that's the old glue line. This is, if we've got it pressed tight, like that's about where it's sitting. So it's about 2 to 3 millimeters too high. Oddly enough, it sits fine over here. So not a lot of problems with how it's sitting on the outside, but a bit more problems with the inside, and that's just very typical for the right shoe on Air Force One. So if that's something that you run into during your swap, don't worry too much. It's not you. It is the shoe. I mean, sometimes it's gonna be you, especially if you're new at swapping. But if you're running into a problem with the toe of the right shoe of a pair of Air Force One specifically, then it might just be how it's cut and how the sole fits. But at any rate, we are going to grind this down a little bit so that it fits a little cleaner. Because the other way, and this can be tempting, the other way to solve something like this would be to like stitch it in a way where you just force like the stitches to the glue line, kind of. And what I mean by that is like, even though it's not sitting correctly, you just try to like put the stitches higher than they should actually be, to like kind of like bring the upper down, to like put it at the glue line. But if you do that, you can still kind of tell, because it'll pull like the side of the sole up. It'll force it upward in a way that looks a bit unnatural. And you sometimes run into that look anyways, just with the right shoe of the Air Force One. But yeah, we're gonna get into it real quick, and I'm gonna go ahead and shave these down. Let's see. So I need my rotary. I don't know where I put it. Bear with me for a second. Here we go. Alright. Okay. Glasses. And then for this one, I am going to use a mask. I've been doing a lot of these today and putting a lot of foam in the air. Alright. Take the foam off. So we'll do the left one first, and this one I'm gonna do really, really light. I mean, fit it in one more time just to see kind of where it's at, like final view. It's crazy how one of them fits so clean and the other one's a little wonky. Like I don't know if I even want to touch this one. We will a little bit just so that they're kind of even. But I'm gonna go very, very light on this one. Okay, satisfied with that. Put that up there. Normally it's not that smooth or easy, as we will see with this other one, but yeah. Alright, make sure I got that in there. Alright, so we start at the holes, like I said before. You don't want to start further back than that, because you can kind of see in here there's that plastic piece. If you grind this foam down, you're going to run into that plastic piece and you're going to risk popping it out of the foam, which you don't want to do, because this is like the air in the air unit. It's like that plastic piece, like with like a honeycomb pattern, and it's filled with air. So yeah, you don't want to mess with that. So you want to grind only from the toe, like onward from those two holes. And get started. hopefully that does it. We're gonna check the fitness. It looks like it's sitting a little bit better. Let's find out. Okay, back's lined up. Better, but I think we still need to take it down a bit more. Yeah. We're about halfway there. Alright, let's try again. A little bit of trial and error here. And if we mess up horrendously, I've got more air units. But I don't think that's gonna happen. Alright. Oh, we're almost there. But I still don't like how high that's sitting. This part sucks, but it is what it is. Part of it is also just like, it feels like you're grinding way deeper with that tool than you really are sometimes. So, even though we've been at this for a while, we really haven't dropped it down that much. And it would probably be more efficient to use a belt sander, but I also think you'd get like a little bit less control. So,
who knows? Maybe I'll try that in the future. We're gonna take it down a little bit more, and then we'll try fitting it one more time. Okay, we're finally good. Took a bit more shaving than I thought it was going to, but now we are sitting right where we need to. I'll bring it closer. It's kind of hard to hold it in a way that it stays sitting the way that I had it, but there we go. That's where it's sitting right there. That's the old blue line. And let's sit in like that. Let's get all the way around. I'm gonna make sure that that's centered so I can look at it from a different angle. It does look like it's pretty well centered. The right shoe on the Air Force One will sometimes though look like it's a little bit off to the left. And that seems to be pretty normal from what I can judge with Air Forces, because I've got them lined up exactly at the original holes that it was stitched into, and it still usually gives a little bit left. But we should be good now. Definitely won't be anything like it was before with the weird fitment that we had before. So that's our third step of the process. I'll take all this off now.
Ooh. Yeah, yeah, that's our third step of the process, getting the air units fitted. And then the next thing that we'll do is we'll need to glue these into place and glue the shoe into place. I'll cover both those steps in another video, and that video should come out tomorrow. So we'll do that tomorrow, and then after that we'll have a video where we stitch it, and then I guess do one more with like the finishing touches. So probably gonna be a 6-part series. So hope y'all have been enjoying it so far. That's gonna be it for today. But we should have these completely done sometime within the next 2 days. And I did, the same guy sent these Ethiopian clowns, which I worked on today. This one's been swapped, so we'll put this one on the final stages tomorrow and stress test it and get it tightened up if there's any loose spots in the glue line. But yeah, everything's going good. Part 3 is done, and I will see y'all again soon for part 4. As always, thanks for watching. We hit the subscriber goal. We're at, I think, 53 the last time I checked. I needed 50 to go live, so I'll start going live pretty soon. I was going to start going live on Sunday, but on Sunday and Monday I'm actually going to be working an event. I got invited to do, it's like some kind of sneaker cleaning event that that's like with the Final Four in San Antonio. So I'll probably have a video where I cover some more of that too, if I can get some footage while I'm down there. But yeah, I'll see y'all soon. Appreciate all the support. Like, follow, subscribe, all of that. And take it easy. Part 4 coming soon.